Hello, everybody. Going to be starting soon, about 1 minute. Let some people get in here. Everybody's having a great day. It is an incredibly rainy day up in Maine today. I know a lot of people without power, so I know it's going to affect some people not being able to come on the webinar today. Still a million people without power. All the storms we had on the East Coast. Hopefully it didn't affect you, but I heard some pretty wild stories of some really bad weather on the East Coast yesterday. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm excited. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Hit the slideshow. I'm assuming, Cindy, everybody can hear me just fine here and can see my screen. So we're going to talk today about a wealth roadmap, the top 10 financial strategies of childcare multimillionaires. We are so excited to be here. Carol got called away on a real estate matter. We just purchased a whole street, 27 unit apartment building. She had an issue she had to go deal with today. So she apologizes. I'm going to be doing it solo today. We still run our own childcare centers. We still run a big, large childcare investment or real estate investment business. So life gets in the way sometimes, but that's not a problem. Able to jump right in and take right over. So she sends her best. But a little bit about us, if you don't know who we are Brian and Carol Dupre. We are both U.S. Navy veterans. Carol spent 10 years in the U.S. Navy. I spent 8 years, and that's actually how we met. We were both instructors. We were teaching anti-submarine warfare tactics down in Virginia Beach, and her desk was next to mine. And she fell in love with me. It took me a little while to convince. She took her a little while to convince me. I'm just kidding. It's the other way around. And we got married 32 years ago. Been happily married. Got 5 kids, 7 grandkids. And got in the childcare business about 27 years ago. And we're multi-center owners. We've opened 10 schools. We're best-selling authors. We've written 6 different books. We sold more childcare related business books than any other author in the world. We're excited about that. And we're both certified childcare coaches through John Maxwell's certification program. We are real estate investors and developers. We have a huge real estate investment portfolio, both commercial and residential, that we built ourselves. We actually manage ourselves, have our own property management company, our own holding company. We actually teach people how to do that as well. So we're the world's leading authority on childcare profitability, expansion, and mindset. We love helping childcare owners. Been doing it for quite a few years now, and absolutely love coaching and training and helping. We're the founders of Childcare Genius podcast, and the Childcare Genius University, which is our mentorship program. And we are on a mission to change the world, one childcare center owner at a time. And we love working with owners. And a little bit about us. So we've trained thousands of childcare owners around the world for our coaching, trainings, podcasts, and also through our books. We have visited hundreds of schools. We've interviewed hundreds of successful childcare owners, and actually a few failed ones too. And that's where we're getting a lot of the data for these 10 things that we're going to talk about today is from interviewing all these successful childcare millionaires and childcare multimillionaires, some of the strategies and some of the things that they have in common. So we've made millions personally in the childcare business. We've also made millions in the real estate business as well. And we're able to combine the two, diversify. We own our childcare buildings, most of them. We still lease one of them. And we do have, like I said, a large portfolio of real estate, residential, and commercial. And it's our life's mission to help childcare center owners run profitable centers with reduced stress and anxiety. What fun is it to make money, to be successful in business if you drop dead of a heart attack because you have too much stress and anxiety? So we want businesses to run profitably, but we also want them to run with reduced stress and reduced anxiety. And we try to keep that to a minimum. So we help our clients do that as well. So I hope you have that as part of your strategy. Maybe we give you some tips on that today as well. So $1 billion coach, that's my goal. So we're proud to say that through our coaching, books, podcasts, trainings, we've helped fellow childcare owners create hundreds of millions of dollars of increased revenue worldwide. My goal is to be $1 billion coach, create in the billions, increase childcare profitability, grow revenues by billions and billions of dollars. So excited to that. The more money you make, the more successful you are, the more you can invest in your people, pay your employees more, invest in your structure, and give back to your community. And we're all about that. So I'm excited. Carol's excited. We're going to be that's our goal, $1 billion coach. So we're going to paint a scenario here. So let's just say you had to go from Maine to Florida. Now, Maine is a beautiful place. I live in Maine with Carol. We live on a lake here in Maine. And we love Florida, though. Florida is nice weather, especially in the winter in Maine. We love to be in Florida. Let's just say we had to travel from Maine to Florida. Well, you could walk, you could ride a bike, you could drive, or you can fly. All four methods will get you there. There are certain risks with each choice, and each one will take you vastly different amounts of time to accomplish. So everybody's with me so far, but all four ways will get you there. Doing all the steps that we talk about today, all these 10 steps that I'm going to lay out will be like flying to Florida. So if you do all these 10 steps, you do them, you don't have to do them in order, but you do need to pay the price and do each one of them. It'll be like flying to Florida. Leaving one thing out though, it'll be like driving to Florida. You'll get there. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. But if you leave multiple things out, it'll be like walking to Florida. You'll eventually get there, except you're going to have a whole lot more pain. It's going to take you a whole lot more time and probably cost you a whole lot more money in the long run than it would have took have you just accomplished everything and flew to Florida. So that's kind of an analogy about these 10 things that we put together. It's like baking a cake. If you leave one ingredient out, it's still a cake. It just doesn't taste quite as good. Same thing here. So the cheapest way is not always the best way. Keep that in mind as you go forward. Sometimes saving money is not always the best option. Sometimes it costs you money in the long run. And there's no shortcut to financial success. You must pay the price of victory, or you will surely pay the price of failure, which is so true. You've got to pay the price. So you can't back into success. So doing these 10 things will speed up your success and assure that it lasts for more than your lifetime. Some of the tips I'm going to give you today will help you create generational wealth, which Carol and I have created. The income we've produced through our real estate business will be going to our great grandkids through generational trust that we've established. And your real estate business might not last your generation. Your kids might not want it. But real estate is something that you could leave to generations and generations. And it's a huge passive income that doesn't diminish while it's paying out passive income. We'll talk more about that later on. So we encourage you to do that. And so let's go. Top 10 financial strategies of those who have become or want to become childcare multimillionaires. The first one, and this is one of my favorite, and I've been practicing this for a long time, it's living below your means. And so many people do not live below your means. The average American, I heard, has savings of less than $500 in savings. So that means you're living at or above your means. Most people in America live at or above their means. They actually have more month than they have money. And it's a dangerous place to be. So having much more money than you have month is living below your means. If you have total expenses of $5,000 a month and you're making $3,000 a month, you're not living below your means. But if you have income of $10,000 a month and you only spend $5,000 a month, that is living below your means. Why do you want to live below your means? Because as a business owner, your income is going to fluctuate and you could have wild swings in income. You could be up 100,000 one year, you could be down 150,000 the next year. You can go up 200,000 following year. It depends on recessionary times. COVID, we saw incomes go down. The next year with grant money, we saw incomes go up. And you're going to be going up and down. So you need to be able to live below your means to survive recessionary times. So the more you can live below your means, you also could take the extra money, pay down debt, and get in a good financial position. So here's a couple tips to living below your means. First, try to live in a house with an affordable mortgage with no more than a 15-year loan. And this is a really big key to building wealth, increasing your net worth. The 30-year loan on a mortgage is so interest heavy that you're paying such little to principal in the first few years, the first 10 years even. Even after 10 years, you only have just pay a fraction on there. It's so interest heavy that you're paying so much interest and it's spread out over time that if you just paid a little bit more every single month, you'll pay it off in 15 years. So I wrote in here, an afford no more than 15-year loan or amortization. But Brian, what does that mean? That means you could turn any loan, any 30-year loan into a 15-year loan without refinancing. That doesn't make sense. How do I do that, Brian? By re-amortizing it and finding out what you need to pay every month. What you need to do is find out what your current loan balance is, find out when the year you want to pay it off is, go into one of these online mortgage calculators and find out how much you need to pay extra each month to pay it off at the date and time that you want it paid off. So if you want it paid off 10 years from now, you do a 120-month amortization with the current remaining balance. It'll tell you exactly how much to pay each and every month, and just pay that as extra and go right to principal, and it'll be paid off in that time frame that you said that. You will save so much money in interest. The average home will save hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest by paying it off and having a 15-year loan on a house. It's so important. And as you build that equity in your home, that equity could be used as an emergency fund for a home equity line of credit. If eventually, when you get to become a child care millionaire, you want to move and up your house to a bigger house, you could sell that completely tax-free, and you could you'll have a lot more equity built into that home at that point too. So you definitely, 15-year mortgage is a great way to go. You'll save so much money in interest. Paying cash for your vehicle. Financing a vehicle means you can't afford it. If you can't afford to pay cash or finance no more than 2 years of a loan. Some of you paying 6-year loans on cars. Those are cars you cannot afford. Childcare business owners need to be frugal with their money. And I remember many times our employees driving better cars than us in the early days as we were trying to live below our means and build wealth. So having a flashy car that you have a huge $700, $800, $1,000 payment on it, you cannot afford that vehicle. You want to be able to live below your means, not above. You don't, again, who are you trying to impress? Status is trying to buy things with money you can't afford to impress people you don't even like. So make sure that you're frugal. A used car gets you there as fast as a new car. You don't have to have the flashiest, and I have no problems with new cars. I actually drive a new car, but I did the one payment plan and pay cash for it because that means you can afford it. So if you're doing to finance a car, again, no problem with it, but have a 2-year loan. If you can afford it, pay it off in 2 years. Again, you're paying a lot of interest, and you can't afford it if you can't pay it off in 2 years. Again, a lot of this stuff comes from Dave Ramsey, that kind of philosophy and mentality. It works. Again, these are habits that childcare multimillionaires have picked up and follow. There's a book called The Millionaire Next Door. Highly recommend it. Read it long, long time ago. And a lot of these tips that I did, and I followed these strategies for 20-something years now. And it's got me where I am today. Pay cash for your toys. You want to buy a boat? Pay cash for it. You want to buy a jet ski? Snowmobiles? I have all those things. There's nothing wrong with those things. But I wrote a check for them. It means I could afford it. If I couldn't afford it, I buy a used one. I buy a used boat, buy a used jet ski or used snowmobile. Pay cash for a toy. No reason, no problem having toys, but pay cash for it. You can afford them. Again, these are tips to help you. The more money you save, the more money you can invest and buy more later on. And pay cash for your vacation. Don't finance a vacation now and pay for it for the next 2 or 3 years. If you can't pay cash for a vacation, you can't afford that vacation. Go to the next neighboring state and go on a vacation you can afford. Don't do the buy now, pay later philosophy. It just doesn't work. I think COVID has got us all aligned where we don't think about the consequences of our spending action. And all this government spending has got a lot of people into that mentality of spend every money you make, and it's gotten people in financial trouble. And now that the grant money is ending for a lot of center owners, they're going to find themselves underwater if they've overspent. So if you follow these techniques, they'll help you. So that was the first one, living below your means. And again, last thing, practice delayed gratification. I could remember When I was a child, my mother would put things on layaway for Christmas. Now, if you're probably over 40 or 50, you get to be up my age or some of my coaches' ages, then you might remember your parents doing that, or maybe you even did that yourself. You'd save up. I remember my mother having a Christmas club where she'd put $10 a week away for Christmas. We don't do that anymore. We just go, we put it on a charge card. We just buy things, we see something, we see it on Amazon, we can have it the next day. There's no delayed gratification. I save up for things. I have sub accounts to save up for things. I put money every month in a special account for Carol and I's vacations. We have a huge vacation budget. Every month I'm putting money in there so I could pay cash for trips down the road. So delayed gratification means you're going to pay the price now for a reward later. Don't be afraid to practice that. Teach your children this. Please teach your children this, because our employees today, they'll quit their job without any consequence. They'll not think about, okay, I got to pay my rent payment. They don't think about consequences. They don't think of delayed gratification. They have $1,200 iPhones. They're walking around with $1,200 iPhones, which represents like 5% of their income, which is insane. When a $200 used phone will accomplish the same exact thing. It's just not delayed gratification. It's just because everybody else has it, they have to have it. You're missing out. Now, the next strategy is smart debt only. There is good debt and there's not so good debt. So there's smart debt and there's not so smart debt. I don't want to call it dumb debt because I used to have a lot of dumb debt. I had $75,000 worth of dumb debt 25 years ago, which got me into financial trouble. And that's what a lot of the tips I'm teaching you today, I learned the hard way by making mistakes. A couple of my coaches have done the same thing. And we learned, and now we're teaching people to help avoid those mistakes. So there is surefire way to stick it to the credit card companies. I'm going to give you some tips today so you can kind of stick it to the credit card companies, because they've been sticking it to the consumer for a long time. I have found a way to get them back. So here's some tips. Never pay credit card interest. Pay off your credit card balance in full every single month. Credit card interest rates are ridiculously high in most credit cards. 19%, 29%, 10%, ridiculously high debt. You buy a cheeseburger today in finance, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay, $8 cheeseburger, you're going to pay $28 for by paying the minimum on that thing. It just makes no sense to pay for something. It's gone flushed down the toilet and you're paying for it for months, for years. It's insane. Think about what you spend money on your credit card. Pay it off every single month, or find a way to get so your credit card debt is paid off. Get a plan together. If you're one of our coaching students or mentorship students, we'll help you get a plan. One of our coaches, Kim Palmera, she's an expert at helping people pay debt off. She was in debt substantially like I was. She put herself, within 2 years, she got it all done, and just with a strict plan, working it all. And she helps our students do the same. But find a way to fully work yourself out of it. And once you do, pay that balance in full each month. The cool thing about credit cards is it's a float. So when you have a daycare credit card like we do, we charge everything for our daycare on this credit card. We get a float. So we can charge something and we don't have to pay the bill for 30 days, sometimes up to 45 days as the grace period is before the next payment comes in. So that is what we call the float. And we teach our students how to maximize the float in their business, but make sure you are able to pay off that bill in full by saving a little bit each month to pay that off in full at the end of the month. And then you'll pay zero interest. Let me say that again, zero interest if you pay your balance in full each and every month. So my credit card could be 180,000% interest. I don't care. I don't care what the interest rate of my credit card is. I've had people ask me, what's the interest rate? I have no idea. I care less because I haven't paid credit card interest probably in 17 years, because I finally got my debt paid off and I was able to, and now I haven't paid interest in all that time. So get yourself out of the hole if you're in it, and then smart debt only, don't pay credit card interest. Next thing, always use a rewards credit card to ensure they're paying you for using their card. Um, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm telling you, you heard that analogy before, but this is a chance for you to get benefit for your charging. You are a business owner. Carol and I charge probably close to $500,000 a year on credit cards between all of our businesses. We've got 3 different businesses, all $1 million businesses. We're charging a lot of stuff, from our workers' comp insurance to our heating oil to utilities. We're charging insurance, everything on our cards, which is creating massive amounts of rewards. And we use that to our advantage. Again, we don't have to pay any interest. So they're paying us to use the card. If you like to travel, we recommend the American Airlines credit card. It pays us tens of thousands of dollars annually. It only costs us $99 a year, which is our annual fee. We get so much benefits. We get upgraded for free. We always buy coach tickets. They always give us free upgrades. We're both executive platinum, which is their top reward level. We're able to we get about 500,000 miles a year on our cards. We have millions of miles now to use. We can get free trips, and we get free upgrades. We actually get upgraded on our awards tickets as well. So it's a really, really good deal. If American doesn't fly in your market, other airlines have cards, like United is pretty good as well. American and United are probably the 2 best that I've seen. There are some other ones out there, but if you like that Capital One, if you look at what they give and a percentage, nothing touches American. And again, Delta and United is number 2. I don't see any other one that even comes close. But again, if American doesn't serve your market, then it doesn't really matter, or United. But more than likely, most people have access to American or United. It's the best one I've seen. And trust me, if there was a better deal out there, I would have found it. And if you think you have a better one, send it to me. I will look at it. And if it is better, I will switch all my stuff to it, because I'm always looking for the best possible deal. But since Carol and I travel a lot, we like to travel. Carol hates sitting in the back of the plane. If we could sit in the front of the plane, in the good seats and the nice wide seats and the comfy seats without somebody taking my elbow into my rib while I'm trying to sit there and watch my little movie on the plane. And I could do it for a coach price, or I could get a free ticket, which we've gotten tens of thousands of dollars worth of free tickets in the last couple of years. That's all the better, because I love to save money. So we can't say enough. American Airlines credit card, aacreditcard.com or something like that. Just Google it. You can look it up. They'll give you 50,000 bonus miles to sign up, and that's enough for 2 free tickets. So it's a pretty good deal. And we're flying our entire team to Jamaica next month. I paid nothing for these tickets. I did it all on using my miles. So I was able to fly them all in for free, and their spouses, by the way, because we fly our spouses into our events as well. All right. Frugality. Let's talk about frugality. Never pay full price again. Who doesn't like a deal? And I bet you never even thought some things are negotiable. Man, all things are negotiable. There are very few things that you can't negotiate for. So keeping that in mind, don't be afraid. A couple things. Don't be afraid to buy used items for your business or your personal life. We buy used houses. People buy used cars, boats. The second a kid licks a piece of furniture in your center, tell you got a used piece of furniture there that you think is pretty darn good. Your center is full of used equipment that you think is good enough for your children. If somebody were to buy that and put that in the school and cleaned it up really nice, wouldn't it be just as nice? Why would you pay full price for an entire daycare worth of equipment when you can go find a daycare that goes out of business and buy their stuff? I have a client that I work with in Indiana. She traveled to another state, got 3 tractor trailer trucks. I think it was 3 tractor trailer loads full of daycare equipment, enough to stock a complete center. So when she opens her next school in the next few months, completely furnished, $10,000 for the entire school. And a lot of stuff is brand new, still in the boxes, and can't beat that stuff. Don't be afraid to buy used equipment. Always ask for a discount and shop around to look for the best possible deal on everything. And don't be afraid to, if you've got a copy machine every 2 years, go out and say, I'd like to get this rebid. Check with other competitors. Don't be afraid to ask around for a best possible deal. And I was in Jamaica last week, week before, and we happened to talk to somebody who was a banker. And I was talking a little bit about some of the things that I do from a financial perspective. And she's like, have you ever thought of, and I was telling her about my money market account. I keep a certain amount of money in a money market account. It's fluid in case I need it for buying real estate. She goes, what interest rate do you get? I told her 0.6%. She goes, and she goes, how much loans do you have with the company? I said, I've got a couple $1 million worth of loans through my company for real estate transactions. And she goes, have you ever thought of asking for more on your money market side? I was like, no. She goes, you're a great customer. They're not going to want to lose you. Other companies do these incentive money market rates. She said, maybe you need to go ask for 2%. Maybe you can get it. Maybe ask a little bit higher. I bet they'll give it to you. So I'm going to get an appointment. I'm going to be going talking to my banker and say, hey, you want me to keep money here? Or I'll move that money somewhere else. They need that money because they loan that money out at a higher interest rate. The interest rates are 7-8% now. So they could loan that money out 8%. They're only giving me 0.6. They definitely would want to give me 2%, so they could turn around and get 8. So it makes sense, but I never even thought of it. So think about things like that. If you're a good customer, don't be afraid to ask for a better deal. Saved money is earned money. It's such a good philosophy. You could make $1 or you could save $1. It's still $1 either way. And I hate wasting money. It's one of the things that just irks me. If I see an employee wasting money, or when I go into a school on a weekend and I see that they left the air conditioners running all weekend, or I see that they left the lights on, it's just one of those things that's like nails in a chalkboard. It just drives me nuts because I don't like to, I work hard for everything I get, and I hate people wasting money. So I hope people are the same way. So that's why we try to be frugal. We teach frugality, and there's nothing wrong with not wasting money. Money saved is money earned. All right, the next one, number 4. How are we doing on time here? So good, doing good. All right, so number 4, avoid addictive habits. Boy, I bet you never thought you'd see this on a childcare multi-millionaire thing. Avoid addictive habits. Guard your mind and your wallet. There's a reason I put this one in here. You need to avoid or seriously limit anything that could become an addiction. Alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, drugs. These are things that threaten your health, that threaten your marriage, that threaten your life, that threaten your business. I have seen more people lose their business due to alcohol, due to gambling addiction. There's other addictions I've seen, sex addiction. I've seen affairs created and then lose your business. Drugs. We've had childcare center owners who've got a drugs, lost their business. And like I said, gambling. I was just talking to somebody about this today, and gambling. And so why what I talk about here? Because it's a threat to becoming a childcare millionaire if that's your goal. You need to, obviously a divorce in your situation, husband and wife, the business usually has to be sold or split up, or one has to buy the other one out. It puts you in a dangerous financial position. So you want to avoid addictive habits that could become a problem for you and your business and your long-term financial stability of your business. I've seen too many episodes of intervention between alcohol and drugs, of people just losing everything they have financially. It's just absolutely not worth it. So if you have a problem and need help, get help. If you're struggling, even if it doesn't seem like much of a problem, it could become a problem the longer it happens. So I just want to, out of love, telling you that something I really watch for. They threaten your current and financial future goals. And millions of people lost their fortunes and their families due to some type of addiction. No one thought they had a problem until they did. So I just want to bring it up because I do think it is that much of a threat in today's society with the problems that we're having. It could easily, with COVID, I see a lot more people self-medicating. A lot more people are on meds, depression meds, things like that. And a lot of people are self-medicating with alcohol and drugs. Just be careful because you could lose everything you have and work hard for. All right, the next thing, planning and goal setting. Childcare millionaires are planners. They are goal setters. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail, says Ben Franklin. So set long-term financial goals and share them with your spouse. One mistake I made, and finances has always been my lane in our childcare business. And I was really gung-ho about getting us out of debt. I just hated debt because, because I was so far in debt in my 20s and 30s, I wanted to make sure I never got that. So I put spreadsheets together, payout, very similar to what Ken Palmeris did. I had the same exact thing. I had investment goals, I had real estate, I had all this stuff in my head and written it down, but I never told Carol any of it. She had not a clue how much money we had. She just, whenever she needed something, she bought it. She was very frugal. She went to thrift stores. She was very humble. She didn't ever go crazy. She'd buy, she never asked for a new car. Never, she got the perfect wife. She's very happy and it doesn't take much. But I never shared these goals with her. So at one time, she's like, well, how are we doing? And I actually sat down and it blew her mind at how good we were doing financially because she didn't have a clue. And I didn't share my goals with her and I didn't make them our goals. And when I did that, it changed everything because we were able to start making financial goals better. And 1+1 = 3 when it comes to husband and wife or business partners working together in synergy, building their business together. And we started becoming a powerhouse real estate couple because real estate was her idea. It took me a while, kicking and screaming, to go out and actually have to borrow money to buy a property because I was scared to borrow because of the debt thing. I was scared. And she's the one who convinced me that it was way to go. And now we have millions of dollars in equity and real estate. And it's because of her. And now we're on the same page 100%. So work together as a team. Even if it's one person's lane, work as a team, set goals. Set annual personal and business financial goals for your business. Very important to have an annual goal for income if you're personal and your business financial goals. Do quarterly success planning. This is something we do inside our Childcare Genius University mentorship program. We're getting really heavily involved in doing quarterly success planning. We call it Genius Quarterly Planning and GQ, Genius Quarterly. And we are doing this to make sure that there's 4 areas that we focus in on to make sure that you have work-life balance and make sure that you have a plan for every single quarter of the year. Every quarter you make a goal, you see how you're doing, you achieve the goals, you get off track and you have to reset the goal for the next quarter. You work quarter to quarter. At the end of the year, you put together 4 successful quarters, you have a successful year. But even if you have 3 successful quarters and 1 a little bit off, you probably still have a good year. Have an amortization chart for any long-term debts and be sure to track it monthly. Very important to know what your net worth is, track your debt, and keep track of this stuff and watch how it goes down. I remember Kim, when I was working with her many years ago, helping her get out of this financial problem. It was so cool. She was saying, oh, I'm down to this now, I'm down to this. And I remember she called me the day she had paid off her last credit card. It was like a hallelujah, high five. And it's, what you measure and what you track will improve over time if you keep an eye on it. It's sort of like if you weigh yourself every day, you're more apt to lose weight than if you weigh yourself once a month. Because it's in your mind, oh my God, I went up today. I weigh myself every day for that exact reason. Because if I notice I'm trending up, I make sure I watch what I'm eating a little bit more. But if I only did it once a month, hey, out of sight, out of mind, don't think about it. Same thing with debt. You got to kind of watch it, track every single month. The next one, have a rainy day fund. This is something I was in the Maine legislature, and rainy day fund is something governments talk about, rainy day fund. But, on a rainy, nasty day in Maine today, makes you think, okay, what if something were to happen? What's your contingency? What goes up will come down, and you must be prepared to weather any storm. Recessions are commonplace, and one is coming because one is always coming. We just don't know when it's going to happen, and it will contract our economy. People will lose jobs, and you'll get less kids in your childcare center. Real estate markets will go down. It's just something that happens traditionally every 7 to 15 years. There's a correction in our economy. It just happens. And it's nobody's fault. It's just, it happens. Things are pretty good right now for the most part. A little expensive, but for the most part, pretty good. But that can change very quickly. And you need to save up 6 months worth of annual expenses. So find out what your annual profit and go print an annual P&L, find out what your total annual expenses are, divide it by 2. That's how much money you should have put away in a rainy day fund to make sure you have enough money to fund your business for 6 months if revenue stops. Well, it won't stop, but what if there's a government shutdown, state money stops coming in? You need some cushion there. So a 6-month rainy day fund assures your business will survive, and it gives you a profit, puts you in a good position. Keep this money in a money market account or other interest-bearing account, but ensure it remains liquid and accessible. Don't put it in a CD that you can't take that money out, or else penalty. Have it accessible, having some kind of fund that you can get that money should you need it. Another option, which is what I do personally, is have a revolving line of credit. We call it a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit for your rainy day fund. So I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity in my house. I have a home equity line of credit for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is my emergency fund. I can get close to $1 million liquid should I need it, and have access to it, and have to pay 0 interest on that money until I actually need it. In the last 20 years, I've tapped in my HELOC probably 2 or 3 times. During COVID, I did early on. And during the recession of 07, I probably went 100, 125,000 into my HELOC. And then over the next year or something, I paid myself back because it was a deep recession and you had to pull it out. And that's what those things are for. So don't be afraid to use that, or just save up the money as well. Or, it's one or the other, or a combination of both. But if you can have 6 months worth of expenses saved up, you'll survive and winter any storm. And keep in mind, when you do enter a recession like that, centers tend to go under, and it's a great time to go out and buy your competitors out. I bought 3 schools during the recession in 07, was able to take 3 competitors out and give myself a great competitive position for very little bit of money. And I had money saved up, was able to do that. So keep that in mind too. By having this amount of money saved up, puts you in a good position should you need that. So the next one is to protect what's yours, because once you have it, people are going to want to take it from you. You made it, now you got to keep it. First thing, ensure that you're properly protected by having adequate insurance to protect you from lawsuits, because your customers could slip and fall. Somebody walking down the street could slip on your property. You want to make sure you have a regular insurance. You also want to make sure you have umbrellas. You want to have personal umbrellas. You want to have a corporate umbrella. Personal insurance, corporate insurance. Make sure you check with your insurance provider to make sure you have adequate coverage to protect you against customers who might come after you. The next people that might come take yours property and your money is employees. So have an attorney review all your legal documents, your HR paperwork, to show you are legally protected, so your employees don't sue you for something, for discrimination, for firing, for this. Make sure you have all your I's dotted, T's crossed, make sure everything is legal. And the last people that want your money is the government. So use the CPA and have regular tax planning sessions, ensure that the local, state, federal government takes the least amount of money as required by law. Pay your fair share, don't pay a penny more, but just make sure that your CPA helps you get your fair share down as much as possible, so you have more money that you can invest in your people, your property, your savings, your future, or your great grandkids, whatever you want to do with that. So customers, employees, and government all want to come take what's yours. Make sure you protect yourself so you don't end up with a big payout to somebody else. Next one, have a personal growth plan. A tomato is either getting ripe or it's rotting. There is no status quo. I love that analogy. Think about it. Your mindset is either getting better or it's getting worse. Your income will never outgrow your self-image, which is why working on your mindset is so important. I was one of the first coaches to bring mindset to the child care realm because I realized that my mindset, I always have struggled with self-image and self-confidence issues. I know you look at me like, oh my God, you can get up in front of 1,000 people and speak with no problem. I had a hard time looking in a mirror in the old days, and I would struggle because of my childhood. I would sometimes struggle with self-image issues because of my bone condition. I was always told what I couldn't do growing up. So it really shook a lot of confidence. So I have to fight through it. Even to this day, I work on this daily because I fight the guy in the mirror sometimes. And if I'm struggling, I know some of you guys are too. Some of you guys look in the mirror and you just don't like what you see and you don't believe in yourself and you don't feel that you could have $1 million business and you're struggling. I know how you feel. I've been there. This is why in our coaching and mentorship program, Childcare Genius University, we spend so much focus on mindset because your income is never going to outgrow that image. If you have a $50,000 a year mindset, you're never going to make $100,000. It's impossible. You've got to build up that mindset. As the business owner, you owe it to your team to constantly be developing as a leader, both personally and professionally. You are the leader. You have to develop that leadership mindset. You have to work on that. It's not developed. It is developed. It's not. You're not born with it. It's something you have to learn and develop. I learned my leadership in the military. You're gonna have to learn yours from John Maxwell or books. The speed of the train can never be faster than the engine. Think of a train car. You will never see a train car going faster than the engine. Well, in your business, you are the engine and your team is the train. So whenever you slow down, they slow down. Whenever you grow, they grow. When you go faster, they go faster. When you take a turn, they're going to turn with you. Keep that in mind. That is such a great analogy that they will never outpace you. So if you want your business to grow, you have to grow. Personal growth, reading books, listen to audio books. I spent 3 hours today already on audiobooks. On my way to the gym this morning, an hour and a half in the gym. On the way home, it's almost 3 hours of audiobooks. I'm listening to a book called The Earned Life by Marshall Goldsmith and some 8-hour Audible. So I could do that 3 days worth and I'll be done. 3 days, I'll have that book done just from transferring back and forth and get ready in the morning. So I do about 3 hours a day. And I get up 5 o'clock in the morning so I can go work out and get that time in. And I realized that while I'm working out, I could do two things at once. I could work out and listen to audio. I'm getting fitness and I'm working on my mind and my body at the same time. So you always have time to do things you want to do. I used to sleep till 7:30. Now I get up early and I get the fitness and I get the personal growth because I'm leading people and I need personal growth and I just maintain. It's very important. So as the leader, you need to do that. Next one, diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's kind of cliche, very old analogy, but it is so true. Very important to have your business diversified, your life diversified. Multiple centers allow you to spread risk, increase profitability, reduce costs, reduce liability, and gives you a much greater chance of long-term success. You say, but it's so much more work. No. 5 schools are much easier to run than 1. Every person who knows how to run 5 schools successfully, that knows how to delegate, will tell you it's harder to run 1 when you're involved in every decision than run 5 when you delegate decisions. So you can't tell me that it's more work because it's not. And we could teach you how to delegate. We could teach you how to get ready for that. The hardest school to open is not your first school. Excuse me, it's your second school. Because in your head, you can't get out. A lot of 90-something% of center owners never open a second school because they can't get out of their own head long enough to want to open the second school. They think that their work will double. That if I open a second school, my 40-hour work week now become an 80-hour working, and that is absolutely not true because you can't be in 2 places at one time. So we have to teach you how to delegate and how to work on there. So we have a whole system that we teach our students on how to do this, and diversification will help spread that risk you'll make more money, and you're able to do more in your business. And you create less risk. What if one building burns down and you still have one school? But if you only have one school and it burns down, you're out of business. Owning your childcare building builds equity and creates the opportunity for passive income when the center is sold. This is a good long-term strategy for financial success. If you don't own your building now, that's okay. First 17 years of our Carol and I's business, we owned 0 of our real estate. And over the last 9 or 10 years, we've been at a buying spree. We bought every one of our daycare buildings with the exception of one that's a better deal to lease. And we bought a whole bunch of other properties as well. So if you haven't done it yet, not a big deal. We were in our mid 40s before we ever purchased any kind of real estate. So you're in your 30s, you're way ahead of where we were. Pivoting to owning rental properties allows you to build passive income stream that will create generational wealth. There are tremendous tax advantages with real estate ownership as well. So if you want to reduce that government burden, the government coming after your 40 or 50% of your paycheck, what you're making, you can reduce that significantly by owning real estate. We teach that to our students in Child Care Genius University, how to do that. We have a CPA on staff who gives you great tips and advice. He's actually going to be with us in Jamaica at our Child Care Genius University conference next month. We're going to Jamaica. We're bringing 100 people to Jamaica with us. And that's going to be exciting. Can't wait. All right, last one, mentorship. Mentorship is, I think, the most important one because you don't know what you don't know. My good friend, Michael Braswell in San Antonio, Texas, his famous line is, "You don't know what you don't know." And I just absolutely love that, Michael, because it's true. You just don't know what you don't know. And there's so much you don't know about the childcare business. Even if you've been in for 25 years, there's so much you don't know. There's so many hidden blind spots. Well, have a trusted advisor or a coach to bounce ideas off is priceless, and it'll pay for itself many times over. William Ray, very good friend of mine down in South Carolina. William said, "Hey, coaching and mentorship, Brian, you coach me, I've made my money back 20 times over." Very important. Get the right mentorship, bounce ideas off of people before you do them. There's 2 ways to make money. You could make it or you could avoid losing it. Avoiding losing money is earn money. It's just as important as making money. Avoiding mistakes that will cost you money is just as valuable as a strategy that makes you money. Keep that in mind. You're gonna make mistakes, but if you can mitigate those mistakes by learning from the mistakes of others, there's 2 ways to learn in the world. You can learn from your own mistakes in that, or you could learn from the mistakes of others, which we call wisdom. So I like wisdom, learning from other people's mistakes. I'd much rather do it that way. It costs a whole lot less. The biggest benefit of coaching and mentorship is mistake avoidance and accountability. And what we do is we course correct people. We call it course correction. If you had to go from New York to London, and you were going to take a boat, you would constantly have to start correcting your course because of the curvature of the earth, the winds blow you off course, and you're constantly correcting your course. Notice when you're flying in an airplane, you notice every once in a while you'll see them turn and turn and they turn. Well, the earth is round, so they have to constantly be correcting because of the curvature of the earth. They don't actually fly in a straight line, they fly in a curved line, because a curved line on a round surface is actually a straight it's the closest distance between 2 points on a round surface is actually a curved line. I found out this in the Navy. So you'll see them constantly correcting their course, and because winds change, they'll blow you. Well, same thing with your business. Your business, you're going to be having to constantly correct course. You'll have a goal, A to Z. You're going to be trying to get there, and all of a sudden, it's not going to look straight. It's going to be up here, and then we course correct. And we're constantly course correcting you based on your quarterly goals. When you're out there right now by yourself and you don't have a mentor to help you, what you're doing is you're just kind of going and you're just kind of putting out fires. You're fixing this problem. You're going problem to problem, and you really don't have time to set quarterly goals because you're going from fire to fire. You get your little fire hat on, a fireman hat or a firewoman hat, and and you put out this fire and you put out that fire. Some of y'all are putting out fire with gasoline and you're making it worse, throwing gasoline on the fire. Well, we teach you how to put fire out with water. We also teach you how to set goals. We teach you how to delegate, how to multitask, and how to have the ability to do multiple things at once and know where you're headed. Because you're never going to get to a childcare multi-millionaire status if you're always putting out fires, always doing everything yourself without delegation. And sometimes you need help getting there. We'll help you. If you had to walk through a minefield, would you rather lead or would you rather follow in somebody else's footsteps? Now, I'm a leader, but no way I'm taking the lead when it comes to a minefield. Somebody else wants to lead and walk through that minefield first, I will gladly walk in their footsteps. Now, everybody knows what a minefield is. It's mines. If you step on one, it blow up, right? Well, why would you want to take the lead in something that blow you up? Well, in your business, there are things that could blow up your business. Why not follow in the footsteps of our coaching team and me and Carol and people that have done things like the real estate transactions, done expansions, opened several locations? Let us help you walk in our footsteps right behind us. We will help you avoid getting blown up in things that can cost you money or lose your business. I'm going to take a few minutes now. We got about 8 minutes left. I'm going to wrap up, talk about Childcare Genius University. This is our mentorship program. Again, there's no obligation here, but we would love to. We've got a great team. It's growing. And this is how we can get you mentorship and we can help you grow in your business. So if you would like the ability to work with me personally on your next expansion deal, wouldn't that be great? You got an expansion deal, want me to look at it? This is what we do in our mentorship program. You find an investment property, you need help evaluating whether or not it's a good deal. How would you like Carol and me to look at the numbers with you? That's a service that we offer in our program. Imagine being able to regularly meet with your professor. Our coaches are called professors in our university. Ensure you're on track with your Genius Quarterly Success Plan. Everybody puts together a Genius Quarterly Success Plan, and we help you make sure that you stay on track with your quarterly goals, whatever they are. We have the most comprehensive childcare owner one-on-one mentorship program in the world. We only do one-on-one coaching, and this is what we like and what works. It's the best form of coaching. It creates the best long-term success. All of our levels receive one-on-one mentorship because we want you to be able to succeed. Sometimes when you have a little group of people, sometimes people are afraid to bring problems in there for fear of embarrassment. There's nowhere to hide on a one-on-one coaching call. That's where we like it. People can be open and honest. And we're about half the price of comparable coaching programs. And we have results guaranteed. So what have you got to lose? We recognize that not everybody can travel 4 or 5 times a year to attend conferences, and they are very expensive to do that. So we've actually structured our program. We do 2 live conferences a year. We're going to do a spring one and a fall one. And our fall one next year is actually in September. We're actually doing it in Jamaica. It's a week-long conference. We only do 4 hours a day, September 18th to the 18th to the 22nd in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And then we're going to do a spring conference to be announced. And then we're going to do 2 virtual conferences a year, and that's winter and the summer. So you'll save a lot of money of travel costs. And our spring conference, people will be bringing their teams to. One-on-one coaching is the foundation of our model because it consistently gets the best results. Over time, the results are much better through one-on-one coaching. And 100% of our coaching staff are either current or former center owners, including our team training coach, who's a multi-center owner, and she's been a director. So she knows both sides of a balance sheet, both sides of it. But she knows how to be a director and an owner, and she runs our team training. So all of our coaching staff, including Carol and I, are owners childcare. Not all coaching programs can say that. And we have 3 mentorship levels. We have Thrive, we have Leverage, and we have Dynasty. Here's our Thrive mentorship program for single center owners, licensed under 50, small programs. It shows the tools that we have. We have a library, we have a vault, we do Mindset Monday. We work on your mindset. We have weekly and monthly trainings. We have quarterly, annual live trainings that I did talk about. It shows you what tickets you get. If you want to take a snapshot of this, you can just snapshot the screen. We will actually send you the slides or recording of this if you're on the call. This shows the coaching calls that we have. We have an onboarding call. We have a weekly open office hours call. We do 6 one-on-one coaching calls a year with your professor. And unlike other coaching programs, when you get assigned, you don't get assigned a professor in our group. So you don't have a coach. You can get coaching call with any one of our coaches. So if you want a coaching call with Alyssa on mentorship, we can get you that. If you want a coaching call with Lisa to work on your systems, we could do that. If you want to call with Kim to deal with finances, we could do that. You're not assigned a coach. The whole coaching staff is at your disposal. You'll have one emergency call a year. I got an emergency call last week. I had an emergency and wanted to know what to do. You would have one call a year, an emergency. You'll get on a coach presser within 2 hours, and we will help you deal with your emergency. And we do ABC, Ask Brian and Carol. 1 hour open coaching call each and every month with Carol and I in the group, and anything that you have, you could bring to Carol and I and get coaching on that. We have a private Facebook page, and we have some additional perks, including our guaranteed 5X investment. Our leverage mentorship is everything that you saw on the Thrive, and this is for single centers, licensed for 50 or more, or multi-center owners. In the yellow is what's additional in this level. This where we bring in and work with your team, so it's called executive mentorship. But we do financial Fridays, so we work on the financial side. We do financial tips every Friday. We do real estate investment mentorship. We do monthly leadership team training with your team. We do team breakout sessions at our think tanks or our virtual events every quarter. We do a team breakout on those days for an entire day. And we do a team breakout at our Spring Live conference. I'm just reading the yellow because everything else is the same on the other one. 2 times a month, there'll be open office hours for your team with Christine McNally. She's our team coach. You get 8 one-on-one calls a year with any of our professors. You get 2 coaching calls a year for your team. Your team can actually get one-on-one coaching calls with the team coach as well. And I'm available for deal evaluation, expansion, consultation, or advanced guidance as needed based on availability. And you get 1 emergency call a year at this level. And again, you have access to ABC, which is Ask Brian and Carol, and the other same things there. So that's the leverage mentorship. This is our largest group inside our coaching program. We have small centers all the way up to large multi-centers in this group. And our last one is called Dynasty. These are people looking to build a dynasty in childcare. And this is a group exclusively that works with Carol and I. All benefits are the same as leverage, plus the additional follow additional. We're going to give you 5 tickets to our Spring Live conference, 2 for the owner, 3 for the team, because we want you to bring your team to that event. You're going to get 12 calls a year. These are 45-minute one-on-one coaching calls with me or Carol or both, whatever you need. And 2 emergency calls a year. Get on a coaching call with Carol and I within 2 hours, unless we're flying, but we'll have a backup if we are. And this includes a 1-day site visit by Carol and me. And we come to your school, we spend 10 hours with you on site. This is for US and Canada only. And this is at our expense. We will pay all of our own expenses. We'll come out and we'll spend an entire day. We'll evaluate your program. We'll find out where the holes are. And it gives us a better sense of what your school is. So when we coach you for the next year, we're going to know exactly when you say, okay, I'm thinking about changing this preschool room. Well, I've been to that preschool room, so I'll know what you're talking about. It's the best level of coaching. This level is limited to 10-member businesses only. It's only the only where I can feel comfortable working with. And currently there are 2 openings in this level. So if you're having the interest, please get in there quick. And what's the monthly investment? Thrive level, $5.99 a month. Leverage, $12.99 a month. And our Dynasty level is $2,500 a month, which again includes that site visit at our expense. We have a 100% guarantee, absolutely no risk. We guarantee at least 5 times results of what you spend. We guarantee at least 5 times money back in the first year. We're going to guarantee that. So how many children would you have to need in your program in the next 12 months to pay for your investment? Well, if you're at the Thrive level, you would only need to enroll less than 1 child just to pay for your membership. And the leverage level, less than 2 children enrolled off of what we teach you an entire 12 months. You think we could help you learn some techniques how to enroll 2 new children an entire year? That'll pay for that. And Dynasty, just 3 new children enrolled through an entire year would pay the investment in our university. Freebie, so enroll today with a 12-month commitment. We'll have you pay October's tuition today, and you're going to get the rest of August and all of September absolutely free. That's huge value. It's only offered today, absolutely free. Receive the rest of August has 7 weeks of coaching at no charge. So it's a really, really good deal. All you have to do is pay your October tuition, and your first regular tuition payment won't be due till November 1st. So it's a pretty good deal. For 1 month worth of tuition, you're going to get all the way to November 1, which is 2.5 months, 2.75 worth months, absolutely free. So we hope you'll join us to visit. Scan that QR code. Go to childcaregenius.com/university to enroll today. You'll get a personal call with me when you enroll. I'm going to jump right on the phone. I'll probably call you tomorrow and congratulate you, welcome you to the group, and give you your next steps. So scan that QR code right now. Again, go to childcaregenius.com. Cindy's probably going to type in the chat the link to go ahead and enroll. And I have overtime, so I'm probably not going to have time for Q&A, but I will turn it over and ask Cindy if we have anything that I need to address or I didn't address. I'm sure you've been addressing in there. So
the question is, how do you recommend canceling a credit card to switch to a better credit card? Won't it hurt your credit to close an account?
When you close it, it doesn't. You actually have to, you have to actually like close the account. You can't just like pay it off. You have to actually close it. And remember, if you're not getting debt, you shouldn't, it'll be a temporary bump, maybe a drop in your credit score, but you're not too worried about it because you're paying things off. You're getting down debt, so you're going to be creating a better credit score down the road by paying off your stuff faster. So don't worry about, a lot of people, that are real religious about their credit score. If you're not going to go out and actually get credit, don't worry about it as much. You could also, to offset it, reduce your credit limit. So to offset that temporary bump that you might get hit, reduce your credit line in your new credit card from 25,000 down to 20,000. That might offset it because you'll have less balance to get at. You can always add it later when your credit score bumps back.
All right, that's the only content question. Lots of comments right now about the awesome content. They loved your gasoline and water analogy, and just lots of agreement with what you're saying. So awesome.
All right, well, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and send me an email, Brian, B-R-I-A-N, @childcaregenius.com. I'm actually going to give my cell phone out right now. Feel free to even send me a text, Brian, have any questions. This is why our coaching program is a little bit different. You have access to me, and I don't have any problem you reaching out. 207-852-0080. If you have any questions about our coaching program, you're thinking about joining, would love a call with me, just maybe talk it through, give me a call, send me a text. I'll be happy to get on the phone with you and talk it through. We hope you'll join us, spend the next year together. We will change your life, I guarantee it. Everybody have a great rest of your day. I hope you've enjoyed the 10 tips we've done today. I've really enjoyed having you. Carol sends her best. I know she's sorry she couldn't make it here today, but we will see you on another webinar probably in the next 2 months, and have a good rest of your day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for the kind words. Bye-bye now.